It's a gorgeous day for softball in the Denver area. Christopher Fields in Westminster, Colorado is the site of the Triple Crown Sparkler Fireworks, the world's largest softball event. The first of 4 telecasts on ESPN3 features the National Power Showdown, a pair of nationally ranked top 10 teams. It's the number 9 Texas Bombers and the number 1 Firecrackers out of California. Here are some more details on this event. The number of players and teams certainly are staggering. 900 plus teams from all 50 states, 500 plus college coaches, and more than 3,000 games around the Denver area. I'm Brett Dolan along with Arizona two-time All-American pitcher Kenzie Fowler. And Kenzie, these two organizations and teams are about so much more than softball, but they have a tremendous collection of talent we're going to see tonight.
Well, absolutely. This is such a fun time for these young women in their lives. Club softball, even though it's club, it will be some of the best softball that we will see all year. And like you said, 2 of the top-ranked club teams. Each team has stacked players that are committed to big-time schools, and they're getting better each year.
We're going to have a lot of fun introducing you to the players in this game tonight. Let's introduce you to the third member of our crew, Brittany Fowler.
Thanks, guys. It's a beautiful day out here for some softball, and what better than to have 2 of the best teams competing here tonight. Just to give you guys a little idea about how good these teams are, the Bombers had 3 alumni in the most recent College World Series, and the Firecrackers had about 10 to 12 of their alumni in the most recent College World Series. So do not forget these girls' faces, because you are more than likely going to see them again in the future, and it's going to be a great day for some softball. Back to you, Brett and Kenzie.
Great point, Brittany. These are the stars of tomorrow. Some of these players will be on college campuses in the fall. Others we'll see in a couple of years. Let's take a look at the lineup we'll see tonight from the Texas Bombers. Mackenzie Herzog will lead off. Tate Whitley in right field. Georgia Clark at first base. Shelby Sunseri on the pitching rubber today. Then it's Taylor Pleasance at second base. Haley Nillen, the catcher. Kylie Naomi at the shortstop position. Kayla Garcia at third base, and Kate Callan will be an extra hitter. On the mound for here our first contest today will be Brooke Vestal. Now, Brooke is a Texan native, New Braunfels, which is where the Texas Bombers are located. So she's going to go up against some individuals she's probably seen before.
And she's been one of the top pitchers in the nation, even though she's just a junior. Last year, a sophomore. She was the starting pitcher when the Firecrackers team won PGF Nationals and has been one of the top-ranked players on numerous recruiting sites. She throws hard, throws in the low 60s, but Coach Tony Rico said, you know, she's not one of those pitchers that's going to overpower you with a ton of speed. She just simply hits her spots and changes speeds.
See the defense. There's Coach Rico. Here's the California Firecrackers defense. Wester in left, Keen in center, Vines in right. It's Flores, Lyons, Marquez, and Perez around the diamond. Macy Simmons will be catching. Brooke Vestal in the circle. Our National Power Showdown, the first of 4 telecasts here tonight and tomorrow. There is Coach Tony Rico, and Kenzie, it was fun talking to him before the game. He said this is his favorite night of the year. This is like the state fair of softball.
Oh, I think so. If you're a softball player, this is where you are at this time of the year. You're in some place in Colorado. There's a bunch of tournaments going on. You saw the graphic in the open about how many teams, all 50 states. It's incredible.
Great crowd has assembled here in Westminster, Colorado. Mackenzie Herzog steps in to begin this game, and we're underway. Herzog will be of the 2018 graduating class, Florida State commit. A lot of Houston area products on this Texas Bombers team. And the count 2-0.
Mackenzie Herzog, we were talking to Coach Scott Smith, and he said she is one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete that we have on this team. I was kind of shocked not to see her get the start in the circle, but the fact that she's the leadoff just shows how athletic she is.
Not even close. 3-0 to start this game. So Brooke Vestal comes back into that circle. She's misfired on the first 3 pitches. And a walk to start the game. These two teams certainly have had their share of alumni move on to colleges and beyond, but here's a breakdown. Firecrackers ranked #1 for the first time since 2012. The Bombers won the Fireworks Championship a year ago. Here's Tate Whitley in. And she's going to take a strike. Our plate umpire tonight, Bill Taylor. Whitley, the right fielder. Whitley, an Ole Miss commit. And that's going to catch that outside corner for strike 2. Whitley's a bit of a character. Every year she says she dyes her hair a different color, but we can't see what it is with that helmet on.
I gotta love the superstitions that softball players have. I like that she also has, I think you call that eye white on her face there.
Swing and a miss. The throw to second a little bit late as Herzog is in with a steal. So Whitley down on strikes, Herzog in scoring position.
So even though Whitley strikes out, it's a productive strikeout. It's kind of a protected steal. Gives herself up a little bit. You see the speed of Herzog hustling down to second base.
Here's Georgia Clark in. She's the first baseman, swings at the first pitch and sends one just foul beyond those red, white, and blue foul lines. Georgia Clark will be a 2018 grad. She's already committed to LSU, one of the many Tigers, or future Tigers we have in this game. Chance to put the Texas Bombers on the board first.
Yeah, 3 players from Texas Bombers have already committed to LSU. I believe 7 players for the Bombers have committed to SEC schools.
It's a fun kind of SEC Pac-12 future alignment that we'll have a chance to get into in this game. Two balls and a strike to Georgia Clark. Daughter of Diane and Will from the Houston area. These teams are playing in this tournament. The Texas Bombers have had a couple of big wins already. Boy, nice big bounce at short for Lyons and a strong throw for out number 2. And you see Herzog move up 90 feet to third base. Texas Bombers based out of the New Braunfels, Texas area. They draw a lot from Houston, of course, San Antonio. Here's Shelby Sunseri. She'll be in the circle to start the game. Out of Santa Fe, Texas, in the Houston suburbs. Just underway at our National Power Showdown from Westminster, Colorado. Well-placed pitch over the inside corner for a strike. Kenzie, if Brooke Vestal can get out of this inning after a leadoff walk, she'll feel pretty good. Herzog's at third, and that pitch just a little bit in.
Yeah, sometimes that first batter of a game can get away from a pitcher just because you've got the nerves. This is a big game. You know you're playing a tough opponent in the Texas Bombers. Sometimes those nerves can get to you, but she looks like she settled in those next 2 batters very nicely.
Hard fastball misses inside to send the count to 3-1. Sunseri a chance to score the game's first run, but she will take a strike on a 62-mile-an-hour fastball.
This is the first pitch that we've seen Vestal go away to Sinceri. She's been really working that inside corner. Catches are looking.
So a payoff pitch from Vestal to Sinceri. A foul right at the plate. We'll do it again. A lot of young fans. There's an Ole Miss future fan here in Westminster, Colorado. Crowd will grow as this night progresses with the All-American game to follow on this same field. Coach Scott Smith has quite an influence on these young girls. Quick conversation with Sinceri. Another payoff pitch will be on the way from Brooke Vestal. That ball hit well to left center field, and it is going to go. A two-run shot from Sinceri to start the scoring.
And this pitch that Sinceri takes out on a full count, so she knew that Brooke Vestal was going to give her something. You can see she doesn't even extend her finish, but she gets to contact so solid. Look where this ball ends up. Shows how much power she has. She didn't even finish her swing, gets to contact. A little souvenir out there in left center field.
Great point, Kenzie. She just threw that bat head out there and sent one into the bleacher area for the first two runs of the game to the Texas Bombers. Here's Taylor Pleasance. Talk about some of these young ladies will be on their way to college in the fall. For Pleasance, she'll graduate in 2019, so one of the younger players, but she's already committed to LSU and just having a tremendous summer.
Yeah, a couple of future Tigers. We just saw Sinceri go yard. She'll be at LSU next year. Will be arriving on campus this fall, but yeah, Taylor Pleasance, one of the younger players on this Bomber squad.
Daughter of Milady and Chris Pleasance from the Pasadena, Texas area. We asked these young ladies to fill out questionnaires for us. Here's Sinceri, who had the two-run homer. Taylor Pleasance and hers said, "Don't be surprised if you see me playing volleyball at LSU." So I had to go up and ask her today, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Absolutely. I'd love to be a two-sport player at college." Good athlete. And it's 3-0. No, that's in for a strike.
That would be something to see, especially at a school in the SEC.
He's got the Bryce Harper eye black working. Now it's 3-1. So 22 pitches already here in the first for Vestal. And keep in mind, she's from Texas, going up against this Texas Bombers team. Close to getting out of that first inning before Sinceri hit the two-run bomb. And the strike sends the count full. Just underway at our National Power Showdown. Wester in fair territory will make the catch to end the inning, but two-run score in the frame. Shelby Sinceri powered the home run to the bleachers. She'll be in the circle when we come back. Texas up over California 2-0.
So you love your game? So does he. You say ain't nobody gonna work harder? He said the same thing. You get an hour of training in before the sun even comes up, plenty of early risers out there. You got the gear, They got the gear. You got a secret weapon? This dude doesn't need one. See, this isn't just a game of inches. This is a game of ounces. And the next ounce you give
might just be the one the other guy doesn't.
Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, and refuel.
The Sparkler Fireworks on ESPN is brought to you by Triple Crown Sports, by Gatorade, and by the NFCA. Beautiful evening here in Colorado, Westminster. We're at the Christopher Fields to see the 2 spot in the top of the first for Texas. That was provided by Shelby Sunseri. She'll be in the circle. She'll be looking at this lineup, though, for the Firecrackers. Anna Vines in right field, Jenna Keene in center, Brooke Marquez at second. Then it's Lyons at short, Flores at third base. Pinto, Perez will be at first, Macy Simmons will be catching, and Riley Wester made the final grab in the top of the first. She's in left field. And again in the circle, Shelby Sunseri from Santa Fe, Texas, has already graduated on her way to LSU.
And like you said, we got to see her athleticism in the top of the first. That 2-run shot to left center field. Now we'll get to see her in the circle. She's probably the pitcher that throws the hardest on this staff for the Bombers, who have a couple of really good pitchers. And Coach Scott Smith said it's just pick your poison. They're all so solid. They're balanced. Couldn't really name a top starter.
He's facing Anna Vines, a UCLA commit. Playing right field tonight, the California native. Take a look at the defense employed by the Texas Bombers behind Sunseri. See Jackson in left, Herzog will be in center, then Whitley in right. It's Garcia, Naomi, Pleasance, and Clark third to first around the diamond. And Nillen behind the plate. Ground ball right to third. Garcia's got it. Boy, Vines racing down the line, but retired on a close play.
Now batting center fielder number 8, Jenna Keene.
Sunseri in her high school career had a goal of striking out more than 1,000 batters in her 4 years. She ended up striking out more than 1,100. 2-time All-American. There's Jenna Keene. She's going to bunt. Bunts one foul for a strike. Of course, you were a 2-time National Player of the Year in the Tucson area before going off to Arizona. So you've been down this road that these young softball stars are undertaking in this travel circuit and here in Colorado to go up against the very best.
Yeah, and so you just really have to enjoy where you're at in the moment. And you're talking about the surveys that the girls were filling out, and Sunseri said that was her proudest moment, is that she set out for a goal to strike out 1,000. Think about that. As a freshman, if you say, I want to strike out 1,000 batters in my time as a high school player, and she goes out and does it. That's amazing to have that kind of desire and dream and see the long-term goal. These young women.
Tremendous success there in Santa Fe, and she'll strike out Jenna Keene for out number 2. Of course, we're happy to have Kenzie Fowler with us. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine to the University of Arizona.
Now you can tell the way back. Not exactly the most HD film, but yeah.
What a tremendous career at the U of A, a 2-time All-American. 38 wins as a freshman in Arizona, went to the College World Series Championship Series, and you had 371 strikeouts that season. Brooke Marquez, the second baseman, will have a count of a ball then a strike. Does it feel like that long ago?
I don't know. I get times where it feels like it was just yesterday, but I mean, it was only 4 years ago, which shouldn't be that long ago. Still pretty young, I think.
I think you're right.
But I do miss club ball. Club ball was so fun. And it's some of your best friends. Some of my best friends are still the girls that I played with for multiple years during club ball.
Soft liner to left, and that's a base hit for Marquez, the Notre Dame commit. She will continue this inning. Take a look at this swing.
Marquez just gets this pitch. You can see how tight her hands were. That pitch was really inside, and she was able to get her bat to it because of where her hand path was. Didn't really square it up super hard, but just got enough barrel on it to fist it out to left field.
It's a young lady that last November into this February had a couple of surgeries on her wrist and her thumb. Back playing in full force, and here's Grace Lyons, the shortstop. Mackenzie, both you and Brittany are alums of this event, so not just used to that club ball circuit, but also playing here in Colorado.
It was one of my favorite tournaments, if not my favorite tournament in club ball. I mean, of course, you're always thinking about nationals and qualifiers, but this tournament, because of how many teams are here, how many girls that you've played against in high school or just growing up through club ball, everyone's at the same ballpark and in the same state, and the energy is just something that you can't really describe.
That ball's fouled away. We saw Tony Rico sitting back in his chair in his favorite night of the year, and a chance for this great collection of talent to come together and play in this National Power Showdown before the All-American game to follow. Grace Lyons, she's an Oklahoma commit, so she'll graduate in 2018. Oklahoma finished off another amazing run this year in the College World Series. But Grace Lyons has a pacemaker. You talk about somebody who's overcome a lot just to be able to get to this point.
Grace Lyons is a stud. I've seen her play because she's from Arizona, and I watched her compete when she was competing for a high school state championship. This is an exciting player that Oklahoma will see the next couple of years.
She hits this one a mile in the air, but foul down the left field line. Good hang time, but well out of play. Daughter of John and Aaron from Phoenix, Arizona. So while the Firecrackers are based out of Huntington Beach, they recruit from a wide area out west. And you mentioned all the Pac-12 future players that this organization's going to send to that conference.
Yeah, and like you said, even though some of the players are from all over, they are based on the West Coast in Huntington Beach, and a lot of those players will stay there around the Pac-12.
Whitley gives way to Pleasance, the second baseman Pleasance with the catch to end the inning. Firecrackers get a hit, but they do not score. We played one inning. 2-0, the Texas Bombers in front of the Firecrackers.
Softball fans, don't forget to stick around directly after this matchup for the 4th of July presentation. Again, that is directly after this ball game.
It's a gorgeous day for softball in the Denver area. Christopher Fields in Westminster, Colorado is the site of the Triple Crown Sparkler Fireworks, the world's largest softball event. The first of 4 telecasts on ESPN3 features the National Power Showdown, a pair of nationally ranked top 10 teams. It's the number 9 Texas Bombers and the number 1 Firecrackers out of California. Here are some more details on this event. The number of players and teams certainly are staggering. 900 plus teams from all 50 states, 500 plus college coaches, and more than 3,000 games around the Denver area. I'm Brett Dolan along with Arizona two-time All-American pitcher Kenzie Fowler. And Kenzie, these two organizations and teams are about so much more than softball, but they have a tremendous collection of talent we're going to see tonight.
Well, absolutely. This is such a fun time for these young women in their lives. Club softball, even though it's club, it will be some of the best softball that we will see all
Sunday night baseball. 2-0 the count to Naomi. A play for Lions and a strong throw for out number 2.
Lions has such a strong arm over there at shortstop. She's one of those players that you just want to keep your eyes on because she's like that human highlight reel. Makes those plays that a routine looks so easy, and then will make some plays that look like they shouldn't even be close, and she'll make them.
Fun to watch these players defensively. Seen a couple of ground balls, but earlier today the outfielders getting a workout, tracking down fly balls here in the thin Colorado air. Kayla Garcia in there from the left side. She'll be a 2018 grad, a Texas A&M commit. Aggies got to the College World Series this year out of the SEC. Strike called over the inside corner.
We were talking before the game and trying to do quick math, but I think 7 out of 8 teams are represented in this game alone, just in terms of commits and the teams that were in the World Series this year.
Boy, just this game, even before we get to the All-American game where there's 57 players and everybody is committed to a college or university. Pitch floated over the outside corner to Garcia for strike 2. Vestal runs one right on that outside corner for strike 3 called. So a perfect second inning. Maybe a little momentum for the Firecrackers. We'll take a look again as we go to the bottom of the second, able to catch that outside edge.
How could I hear ya? Let's go get 'em. I can't get near you now. Let's go get 'em. Oh, well, crumble. Let's go get 'em. Oh, well, crumble.
But I think more than anything, you know, we all do the same thing, and the proudest thing you ever get to call yourself a coach, and all the young women that we get to help grow up. Because the NFCA was just such a fantastic job of keeping us on our mission and our eye on the ball.
Beautiful night in Colorado. The fans still filing in. A huge night of softball and a big week of softball here at the Triple Crown Sparkler Fireworks. The team from Texas, the Bombers, leads the Firecrackers from California 2-0. Shelby Sunseri back into the circle to face Flores, Pinto, and Perez here in the Firecrackers' second inning. Aaliyah Flores, the third baseman. Smokes one foul for strike one, the daughter of Jimmy and Darlene. She wants to be an FBI agent after softball career is over, but what a family. Her older sister went to Alabama as her pitcher. Younger sister will be in Oklahoma. Pop up behind the plate where there'll be room. How about that catch from Nillen? Not a lot of foul territory behind the dish.
Yeah, that was a tough play up behind the fence. You can see right away that she keeps her eyes on it. That's key, where she looks straight up. A lot of catchers sometimes look around. You can see that the talent and the level of play of both catchers. Nillen on the other side, Simmons. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Got a concentration right there from Nillen. Here's Alyssa Pinto. She'll hit one back and out of play. Here in our complex. Pinto, how about this? 4 different high schools in 4 years. As you can guess, her dad is in the military and the Army. Well-traveled young lady, not just during the travel ball season, but also each and every year as she bunts one foul. An Oregon commit, another Pac-12 player on this Firecrackers roster.
This will be a doubleheader for Alyssa Pinto. She'll be playing in that All-American game that'll be following this showdown. So a couple players on the field. Pinto, one of those that will stick around.
A lot of television time for these young ladies. Flare out to left center field, trying to travel, and that ball is going to end up clearing the fence. Easy power from Pinto. And the Firecrackers are on the board.
See where this pitch is located. You can see where catcher Nillen was set up. She was set up a little bit inside, and the ball just kind of floated over the outer half. And Pinto with the opposite field power. I didn't know if that ball had enough to get out, but it just kind of stayed up in the air.
In that replay, you could see her stay on that pitch well.
Ah, good swing.
Here's Perez, the first baseman. Speared in the circle by Sunseri. She'll get out number 2 to retire Perez. And one rule in these games on television, you never want to swing at the first pitch. It limits the amount of time we can explain your story. With the Cal commit retired by Sunseri, and there's 2 outs for Macy Simmons. And Kenzie, this is interesting with Macy Simmons as she comes to the plate and stands near Haley Nillen.
Now you're looking at 2 players who are both committed to Auburn. Not only are they both committed to Auburn, but they're both the starting catchers for both the teams today.
Coach Clint Myers can see maybe a couple of future Auburn stars right there. Maybe some future competition between these 2 as Macy Simmons takes a strike.
And Nillen is 1 year older. She's 2018 commit, so we'll be there in 2 years. Simmons, a little bit younger, 1 year younger, is a 2019 commit. But ultimately, they'll be teammates.
Get a good look at her shoes right there. She wears size 13 shoes. How about that? Got to get those moving down the line if she makes contact here. Good pitch for strike 3 over the outside corner. Sunseri bounces back and gets the comebacker and the strikeout after the home run from Pinto put the Firecrackers on the board. We've got a 2-1 game. Bombers in front.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking
Texas Bombers with a 2-1 lead over the Firecrackers from California as we go to the third inning. And for the athletes who move the game forward, we're creating the fuel to get you there. Tested in the lab, proven on the field. Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel. Some young Firecracker players and fans.
There have been so many teams that have just developed within the Firecrackers organization. And talking to Coach Rico, over 300 teams in 20 different states the Firecrackers organization has expanded to.
Well, that's amazing. Here's Kate Callan lining one to left, right into the glove of Wester for the first out. So the future Texas Longhorn retired on one pitch. Here's Coach Rico, and he said, first of all, they have a rule, and it's the golden rule, number one. It's about being a good person in addition to a good player, and that goes into whether or not they'll allow teams to use their name across the country.
Well, Coach Rico obviously is one of the top figures in club ball, has been coaching club softball for many years, and the last couple of years he said he's kind of developed into a manager in terms of his organization and running all of the Firecrackers teams and just trying to be a mentor for these coaches and players all across the nation.
Abby O'Neill, a former or future Houston Cougar, with a base hit to center field that drops in front of Keene. So the Missouri City, Texas kid gets a base hit with one out here in the third inning.
And jumping on this offering, look at where this pitch is located. It's up and out, and she somehow gets her hands to it and can square it up to center field.
Well, that's good plate coverage.
It is. She still hit it decently hard, too, with how far and up that ball was.
So 1 on, 1 out here in the third inning. Mackenzie Herzog, the leadoff hitter, walked and stole a base and scored a run in the first inning. I like Mackenzie's hobbies. She says sleeping and eating are her two favorite hobbies.
Sounds good. I'm on board.
It sounds like survival more so than a hobby. Pitch is up and out, a ball then a strike. She was part of competitive gymnastics for 8 years, and I gotta believe that flexibility and that athleticism has helped her out in the softball field. Facing Brooke Vestal for the Firecrackers. Boy, that pitch narrowly missed. Herzog's able to spin out of the way.
I don't know how she got out of the way of this pitch.
That's where that gymnastics training comes in.
On cue, exactly.
Plus, it hurts if it hits you.
It's true.
There's motivation involved.
Especially the slap hitters, when they're running towards the front of the box, sometimes they can end up 5-6 feet closer than a right-handed batter, and so when that ball comes in, yeah, it does hurt.
Our umpires, Shania Franska, Bill Taylor, Greg Whitehead, are converging. They may be discussing whether or not this clipped Herzog. She's going to stay in the batter's box with a count of 2-1.
It's tough to see from this angle, and I would say no, I don't see a jersey move at all, but it was close.
See, Simmons didn't catch it cleanly, like maybe it was just, it grazed Herzog on the way by.
Yeah. And I think her reaction as well, she was kind of confused whether it maybe hit me, and if it hits you, you know, and you'll run down to first base.
So the count, 2 balls and a strike. She'll serve that one out of play, 2-2. So Vestal gave up the 2-run home run to her counterpart, Sanseri, in the top of the first. She had a perfect second inning. Looking to work around a single here in the third. And now the count has gone full. Herzog, the leadoff hitter and the center fielder. And the native Texan, Brooke Vestal, would love to finish off Herzog. She drew a walk back in that top of the first inning. She'll walk again, so a couple of base runners aboard for the Bombers.
Now batting right fielder number 1, Tate Whiteley.
And that's a tough one to lose because we've seen the speed of Herzog on the bases, but then also Vestal's now going into the 2, 3, 4 part of the Bombers lineup, the meat of their lineup, with runner in scoring position, only 1 out, and speed of Herzog at first base.
Tate Whitley, who struck out back in the first inning, another left-handed batter in for the Bombers. She's going to take a strike. These teams not only playing tonight, but playing throughout this tournament. Texas Bombers have had a couple of big wins, while the Firecrackers were actually shut out in a game. And you see in the box, they're the #1 ranked team in the country.
Anytime the Firecrackers go out and compete, they're going to get their opponent's best game because they have the name. Coach Rico has been around for so long. Of course, now they have that #1 ranking up there as well, but it's almost like they don't even need that ranking. They're such a legendary program, and each team, when they play Tony Rico's Firecrackers, they're going to be gunning for a chance to beat them.
They'll get their best effort. Whitley singles to center. The throw home is wide, and scoring is O'Neill. And the Bombers have a 3-1 lead, so Whitley able to advance to second after the base hit and the RBI.
And so Whitley's second at bat, on top of the first, she struck out, and so gets another look at Vestal, makes an adjustment, hits this ball right on the money up the middle, and an errant throw out from center field from Jenna Keene. It would have been a close play at home plate, but the arm strength was there, just a little bit high and out of reach from Macy Simmons.
She aired it out pretty good, and Whitley took second base on the throw, so you see 2 Firecrackers converge, and a couple of Bombers now in scoring position for Georgia Clark. Infield creeping in. Pitch eluded Simmons for just a second. Georgia Clark, she wants to be a mechanical engineer, so she has some big aspirations. Off to LSU. She's a 2018 grad. Chance to drive in a couple of runs with a base hit. Instead, that ball gets away from Simmons, and home to score is Herzog, and it's a 4-1 lead for the Bombers. So Vestal got the first out of the inning on the line out to left, but since then, single walk, single, and here's a wild pitch.
Yeah, going back to the walk of Herzog. As a pitcher, it's really hard to put speed on the bases because, just like you saw, she can almost walk home with how fast she is.
Clark hits a comebacker, knocked down by Vestal. She will freeze Whitley and get the out at first base. Second out of the inning. Important play in this frame.
Now batting pitcher number 27, Shelby Sinceri.
Couple of runs home for the Texas Bombers this inning, and Shelby Sinceri provided 2 in the first with a long home run to the bleachers in left center. Let's go back to that first inning and watch the swing from Sinceri on the home run.
This pitch is low, but it's a little bit too much over the white. But like you said, the swing, she doesn't even finish her extension, just gets to contact. She's so strong. Lets that ball get deep. And that ball was way out of the ballpark.
Mackenzie, you're right. She cut off that swing, but watching on that replay, she knew the minute she made contact, she had plenty to clear the fence.
It's all about the timing and where you get to contact, letting that ball travel deep and hitting it in that sweet spot of your bat.
Santa Fe, Texas product. daughter of Mike and Donna. Whole family's here in Colorado. Watch this week of softball. Triple Crown Sparkler and Fireworks. Boy, light rain coming down despite the sunshine here in the top of the third inning.
Yeah, it's kind of playing tricks on my eyes because, like you said, it's sunny out, but that rain coming down.
If you don't like the weather in Colorado, wait 20 minutes and it'll probably change. 3-0 the count though to Sunseri. That wasn't good enough for a strike, so the at-bat will continue. Two runs in the bank here in the third inning for the Texas Bombers. Vestal climbs back in that circle. Good pitch. And the count has gone full. I like that location on the inside corner under the hands to a power hitter.
And this would be a big hitter at bat for Vestal. Anytime a hitter kind of sees your best stuff, goes yard, you want to go right back at him, make your adjustments, get a second shot.
Vestal hoping to end the inning, and there's a foul right at the plate. Vestal wanted to thank everybody that helped her get here. And really, you talk about a support system in softball. It takes more than just a family or siblings. It takes some sponsors. It takes support of your high school teammates. And I thought it was nice of her to want to thank everybody that made these trips possible. – 3-2 is up and out, so that's ball 4, and the inning continues. It's funny, you think of Vestal, and there's so many California West Coast kids, and she's a Texan on this team. One of her hobbies was hunting and fishing. She's been hunting since 7, and I said, wait a minute, is she from California? And then you realize she's from New Braunfels, Texas, and it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, but like you said, going back to what she said about wanting to thank everyone, it's a long grind of when you start softball. These girls are 5, 6, 7 years old. You get into club ball around 9 years old, and then you're playing club ball, I mean, every day of the year. And you have high school season, obviously, and you're playing up until you're 17, 18 years old, and then you go on to college softball for 4 years. So the majority of these girls, when they play, is during their club years.
Chance for a lot of reps, a lot of at-bats against quality competition around the country. You see Sunseri, she went to the dugout for a pinch runner as the frame continues for Taylor Pleasance. Tori Willick running at first base. Vestal could use a strike. That one just rolls foul. 2-1. So Willick running at first base. 2 balls and a strike to Taylor Pleasance. And that one catches the outside corner. Pleasance flied out to left in her only at bat. She'd love to add to this 2-run inning with a couple of bombers on base here in the third. Count has gone full, and there's Willick advancing down to second base. So Willick, her mother, won a national championship at Texas A&M, but she's going to Texas. I don't know how that works in that household.
Get to stay in the same state, but you know the rivalry is real there.
You're splitting that family right away. Here's a 3-2 and a bounce at a first. Perez able to knock it down and step on the red first base to end the third inning. So a lengthy frame. The Bombers able to add a couple of runs to increase their lead to 4-1 over the Firecrackers through 2.5 innings here in the 18U National Power Showcase, part of this Triple Crown Sparkler Fireworks week of softball here in Colorado. We're at Westminster. And let's check in with Brittany Fowler.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with Bombers head coach Scott Smith. Coach, is that a breath of fresh air in the first inning where, you know, a 2-run home run and then just now another 2 runs? What's going to be the key to maintaining this lead?
Yeah, home runs are fun, especially when you get them in the first inning. But I think we tried to settle into the game, and that's an interesting way to settle into it. But it's always good when your pitcher's the one who hits it. So, yeah, no, it's fun. They're a good team. This is not enough runs, and we've talked about that. We're going to have to keep hitting, keep putting runners on base, and play defense. So we're excited about how we've started so far.
I want to talk to you a little bit about an interview you partook in last year. You mentioned in an article that Tony Rico is like a mentor figure to you. Talked a little bit about what he taught you that you like to incorporate into your coaching.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the game, and if you're trying to create a blueprint of your own, you take bits and pieces of other people. He's where you start. So they're a good team. He's been a great friend of mine and helped us shape kind of what we look like. So it's always it's an honor to get on the field with those guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks.
Realize it's a small fraternity once you get into the softball travel circuit. A lot of respect amongst these coaches, these teams, and these players. Sunseri, she's back into the circle here in the third inning. She's hit a 2-run homer, working with a 4-1 lead.
We've talked about how many Firecrackers teams there are now across the nation, and the Texas Bombers, kind of chasing their excellence on the other side, have 80 teams in their organizations in 10 different states.
Good look at the Firecrackers dugout. Riley Wester is at the plate. She's one of 3 sisters that have played softball at Notre Dame. So you see a California kid who's gone to South Bend. The entire family's done that.
It'll be easy to coordinate on the clothing. Just the sisters pass it
That's
down.
Right.
Don't even need to go shopping.
All 3 sisters have been a participant in this tournament. Head of the same college, and there's a base hit up the middle for Wester. Able to chop one between Naomi and Pleasance, and a base runner for the Firecrackers.
Really good piece of slapping here. Watch her get that bounce, her sharp angle with her bat, and gets over the head of Sunseri in the circle.
So the third hit for the Firecrackers. Wester's on. Julia Jimenez from Fontana, California, daughter of Gloria and Chris, gets her first chance to bat. She's a Michigan commit who thrives on competition. She starts to fill out her position. She plays at shortstop, third, second, catcher, outfield. Just put her in the lineup someplace. She'll be a 2019 grad, so one of the younger players participating in this game as she takes a strike. Those are no small feat either.
We talked about the surveys that the players have filled out, and Julia says, I'm 5'2" with size 10 feet. That's under what's unique about you.
That is unique. There's a pop-up, and it will be tracked down by the third baseman Garcia. So the first out of the inning. And turns the lineup over for Anna Vines. Let's see this one again. Not a lot of foul territory, Kenzie, to work with.
No, but you love to see the communication right there from Nillen behind the plate. You could see that her third baseman, Garcia, had a better angle coming in on that.
Vines to bunt, and it runs up the arm of Sunseri, and Vines with great speed able to beat it without a throw. And Wester advances to second. So the Firecrackers down 3 of a couple of runners on as they get towards the meat of their lineup here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
And this is the speedy part of the lineup for the Firecrackers. You saw it right there in Vines. Incredible speed getting down the line. When you have speed like that, that's all you need. You need one bobble from anyone in the infield. It could be even the first baseman, and she can beat that out every time.
You look up, and Vines was 2/3 of the way down the line coming out of the box, it felt like. There's Jenna Keene out of Long Beach, daughter of Dave and Corrine. And she's a University of Arizona commit. Madison Jacobus getting her chance. California kid from Torrance. Did she offer? Yes, she did. Rep that bat through the zone. The count of ball, then a strike. See the base runners for the Firecrackers. Wester at second. Vines at first. As Madison Jacobus will pinch hit, another 2019 player. Utah commit. Utah's well represented amongst the players that'll be participating in this evening in these 2 games.
Yeah, and Jacobus will follow in the footsteps of former Firecracker Alyssa Barrera, who had a great freshman season this year at Utah. A little bit of a Firecracker-Utah connection, but there's a ton of Pac-12 girls that will be playing in that conference in a couple of years.
You do a lot of Pac-12 games, you'll see these girls again, and there's a liner to third, speared by Garcia. A big second out here in the 3rd inning. So Sunseri trying to work around the single, and then Vines getting on base. Brooke Marquez, another 2019 future grad out of Valencia, California. Takes a mighty swing and fouls one right back. She says her proudest moment in softball, she broke her wrist on the field and she still didn't cry. So I guess there's no crying in baseball and there's no crying in softball, even when you break your wrist.
Play through the pain.
Where a lot of these softball stars have had injuries, some issues they've had to overcome, tremendous pain tolerance, willingness to compete, stay on the field. A little bit outside on the 0-2 pitch. And you see the Firecrackers not just on the top step, right up against that railing. Big inning for them here in the bottom of the 3rd, trailing by 3. And a base hit from Marquez, and this will score a run. A throw to second base is going to be in time to get Marquez and end the inning. So the Firecrackers get a run, Kenzie, but the runner cut down at second to end the frame. So Wester score, but here's the cut. And the play at second, and Marquez is out. Texas Bombers with a 4-2 lead over the California Firecrackers as we go to the 4th inning. And Triple Crown Sports is proud to produce the Colorado Sparkler and Fireworks. Whatever your game, softball, basketball, baseball, volleyball, treat your team right with destination locations, signature memories, and professional staff. Get in the game at triplecrownsports.com. New pitcher Brianna Jewett on here in the 4th inning. Long Beach, California native, daughter of Marianne and Dawn. She's a Harvard commit. Haley Nillen, the catcher, leads off and takes a strike.
Coach Rico said that Jewett is really calm in the circle and just does a really nice job of hitting her spots. And like you said, a Harvard commit.
She's gone off speed in the first couple of offerings. So Vestal went 3 innings, and now Brianna Jewett on here in the 4th inning. Nillen flied out to center in her only at bat to Keene. She's got all the gear on. A little bit high, 2-2. Jewett's come in at 58, 57 miles an hour and a couple of fastballs this inning. So the Bombers up by 2. They were able to get out of that last inning with a good play at second base. And nearly hit Nillen, yet it didn't miss the target by much as Jewett tried to work that inside corner. Jewett will be a 2018 grad. Nillen takes that floater high for ball 4 and a good beginning to the Bombers' 4th inning.
Now playing right fielder number 1, Tate Whitley.
So Pinto, you see her in right field, and Vines moves from right to center, so she's standing on that American flag star out there in the grass shy of the fence in center field. And the pitch to Kylie Naomi. Misses for a ball. She bounced to short in her only at bat. Jewett's favorite fast pitch player, Lisa Fernandez. She gets the strike. Do we have an account of the ball than a strike?
It's a bold pick. Only the greatest player of all time.
Leadoff walk here in the 4th inning. And now the count, 2 balls and a strike to Naomi. Not only going to Harvard, she wants to be an orthopedic surgeon. She could use a strike here, and she'll get one on a foul ball stroked down the left field line out of the reach of Western. See the crowd filing in. The All-American game to follow about a half an hour after the conclusion of this one. So all kinds of talent on this field tonight here in Westminster, Colorado. Good pitch. Strike 3 called, and Naomi down looking for the first out of the inning.
This pitch is perfectly located. It's like a curveball on the outside plate, but way too sweet to be taking with 2 strikes.
And she's able to get the first pitch strike in there to Kayla Garcia. Maybe a chance for a double play. To Lyons on to first, and that's a 1-6-3 double play. Well turned. Jewett started it, able to snare the comebacker. And that's how the top of the 4th would end.
So you love your game? So does he. You say ain't nobody gonna work harder? He said the same thing. You get an hour of training in before the sun even comes up, plenty of early risers out there. You got the gear, they got the gear. You got a secret weapon, this dude doesn't need one. See, this isn't just a game of inches, this is a game of ounces. And the next ounce you give
Might just be the one the other guy doesn't.
Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, and refuel.
It's a 4-2 lead for the Texas Bombers. This game heads into the bottom of the 4th inning. We've seen Mackenzie Herzog in center field. Now she will head into the circle after 3 innings from Shelby Sunseri.
Herzog, a Florida State commit. We've seen her run bases as the leadoff for the Bombers, but right-handed pitcher will get a good look here. Coach Smith said that she throws up and down and quote unquote has a sick change.
I'm anxious to see it. Good look at Coach Smith. He's also the assistant general manager from the Texas Charge, so very much involved in fast pitch softball. Got a game going on here as well tonight.
And then right field, Abby O'Neill. Behind the plate, number 47, Kate Cowell.
Got a handful of changes. Looks like Callan is behind the plate, along with a few others, as Herzog takes over in the circle. Here's Grace Lyons. First pitch hacking and sends one to center sharply for a base hit, so a good beginning to the Firecrackers' 4th inning.
First pitch, new pitcher, and Grace Lyons is perfectly on time. That is so hard to do, especially the first batter of your team facing a new pitcher.
Nalia Flores staring at that bat as she climbs in. She popped up in foul territory to the catcher Nillen. Takes a strike over the inside corner. Hitters have their routines. That's a good one right there from Flores. This ball will be caught in center. And a throw back to first base, a pretty close play. So Tate Whitley see how close this was back at first base.
Yeah, it was really good base running from Grace Lyons, kind of testing the arm of the new center fielder, Jackson, for the Texas Bombers. You didn't know if that was going to fall in for a base hit or if Jackson was going to come on and catch it, but Grace Lyons goes out and tries to test it and gets back safely.
So 1 on, 1 out. That may have been that sick change. To Alyssa Pinto. And as quickly, nothing into the Pinto. Should he hit the home run in the second, I might start her with something other than a fastball first pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to circle whoever did the most damage, and it was Alyssa Pinto.
And Pinto chases, waves and misses down on strikes for the second out of the inning.
Now batting first baseman number 24, Alex Perez.
Lyons is going to try to advance to second with the ball kicked in the dirt to Callan, and she will. That pitch in there for a strike. Alex Perez lining one to left, and that's a base hit. Chance for a play at the plate. Cut off down to second, and Perez is out. She didn't get to the base. A liner to left for an RBI, but a good play at second base to end the inning again. So the Firecrackers have lost a runner at second in each of the last couple of innings to end the frame. But a run will score. It's a 4-3 Bombers lead through 4 innings. Established in 1983, the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association is the professional growth organization for fast pitch softball coaches from all competitive levels of play. More than coaches, NFCA members include umpires, clubs, businesses, and fans. Over 4,000 members from all 50 states and 10 countries uniting together to advance the sport we love. NFCA.org. Here's the play that ended last inning, Kenzie. You see the run score, but watch Perez gun down at second base.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the second consecutive time that Firecrackers have been run out of an inning trying to be a little bit too aggressive and take second base on a ball that's a single to the outfield. It does score a run, so 1 run closer to that 4-run spot from the Bombers.
It's Kate Callan, the catcher, who will lead off this inning against Jewett. She lined to left field back in the 3rd inning. Good pitch for a strike right on that outside corner. Callan runs up to bunt, another strike, and it's 1-2. Top of the 5th of a 7-inning game, part of this National Power Showdown. The number 9 seed, the Texas Bombers, the number 1 Firecrackers out of California. Bombers have led throughout, now it's down to a run. Jewett pitching to this diehard Texan, Kate Callan out of Katy, a little comebacker. And Jewett able to calmly make the play for out number 1. See Callan right there. She has been playing with her best friend Tori Willick for years, and they're both going to Texas together, so that relationship will continue even into the college level. So Jewett walked the first batter she faced. She's got a strikeout, a double play, and a comebacker since. So she's locked in early. Facing Abby O'Neill.
You know, the majority of this Texas Bombers team has been together since they were 12 years old. And that's something that you don't see anymore in club softball with how many teams and players there are traveling around.
Wester with a chance for another play, and she'll make it for out number 2. That's pretty incredible when you can play that long with a friend or a teammate and keep going through the summer into college.
It makes for lifelong friendships, and the chemistry is going to be as good as it can get. And this team, the Texas Bombers, the majority of them, when they were 12 years old, they were actually the team called Texas Chaos, and they won 12U Nationals. And they played for Bert Emanuel, who is the father of well-known Georgia players Sydney and Courtney Emanuel, and of course as a father wanted to kind of watch his daughters a little bit more, and he ended up turning the team over to the Texas Bombers. And Scott Smith said, "We are so thankful that he did that, because it has been a solid group year in and year out all the way up to 18U."
Bert Emanuel, no stranger to competition himself. Mackenzie Herzog, she's been a tough out. She's walked twice, she's scored 2 runs, and the slapper runs up and takes a ball outside. We've seen her in center, we've seen her pitch, we've seen her score a couple of runs.
Yeah, 2 walks, you know she's thinking, I want to hit in this game. Yes, I like to be on base, but you know she wants to swing it a little bit.
See, the second baseman Marquez was playing so close to Jewett. Once the bobble took place, she just about got the out at first. Boy, Marquez almost took a handoff on that comeback. Let's take a look at this one again.
Yeah, slap hitters, I talked about it earlier with Vines on the other side for Firecrackers, but you really only need 1 bounce. Tough play there from Marquez trying to glove it.
Herzog will steal second base. When the throw goes into center, she'll try to go to third, and she's going to be safe there, and the ball gets away. And she's going to make the grand tour, safe at every base and across the plate. And she has scored again, her 3rd run of the game. She's exhausted after that tour.
I'm exhausted watching her. That was 3 consecutive slides. She goes down to second base, ball gets away, no hesitation. Ball gets away at third, another slide. You can see no hesitation again, and you can just see she's trying to get home. But even though she's a little bit out of wind there, her speed is just so good.
Priceless smile from Herzog. Will be back in the circle. She scores again.
I'd say I'm glad there's no more bases to run.
Or slide into as
She was
Whitley
out of bases.
takes one outside. That's a good point. Not just the sprint, but going in with a hard slide at the 2 bases and across the plate.
Yeah, not only do you have to run, but you have to slide, get up. And she did that 3 times.
She's a gamer. 3 runs scored. A foul bunt try by Tate Whitley. Whitley out of Angleton, Texas. They call her Tater Tot. She'll be an Ole Miss Rebel. 2018 grad. Knocked in a run back in the 3rd inning. Looks at ball 2, up and out. It's going to be so much fun watching these young ladies, not only in future years, but for those that are in college next year or beyond, to see them playing at a high level. Who knows, maybe in the College World Series when we all have access to games on TV. There's Marquez, and her throw's wide. And Whitley's not going to stop. She's going to go to second on the throwing error. Marquez niftily handled the ball on Herzog and flipped with the glove, but wasn't able to get her this time. Her throw was wide of the mark at first base.
Yeah, a couple of errors from Firecrackers defense against the top of this Bombers lineup, who has a ton of speed. We saw Herzog, of course, go around the bases, and then Whitley taking advantage of a overthrow, no hesitation, gets herself into scoring position for, like you said, the meat of the lineup.
Now batting, number 25.
So it's a 5-3 Bombers lead, and Georgia Clark, the 3-hole hitter, with a big chance to add to the tally. Right on that outside corner for a strike to Clark. Houston native's a big fan of Cajun food, and that's a good thing since she's headed to Baton Rouge. Play for LSU. Drives one to right, back near the fence, and it'll be caught by Pinto to end the inning. But a run for the Bombers, so they've added to their lead. It's back to a 2-run cushion. It's a 5-3 lead over the Firecrackers through 4.5 innings. Remember, this is a 7-inning game. The National Power Showdown between these 2 top 10 teams. The Texas Bombers and the Firecrackers out of California. Came in as the number-ranked team in the country. Don't forget, coming up next, it's the All-American game. 57 total players, Kenzie, and each and every one of them have already committed to play college softball.
Now there's some talent coming into this next game. It's going to be really fun to see all these girls and to see where they're headed to in the next phase of their lives. And of course, we'll be seeing them on TV soon.
Let's check in with Brittany. She's standing by with Tony Rico.
I'm here with head coach, Firecrackers head coach Tony Rico. Tony, you guys probably aren't used to the errors. How do you guys think you're going to respond to this? And what do you tell your girls when they're, they're making these kind of errors and they're not used to it?
It would be nice if we didn't make any mistakes, but that's the way the game goes. So we've got to be prepared to be able to recuperate and recover afterwards. And then most of all, train these players to be comfortable with discomfort. So that's what errors do. And so it's a close ball game. Scotty has a great team over there. Hopefully we'll come back, make some things happen.
I think we owe a quick shout out to a little girl named Kari. Do you want to explain the orange bracelets?
Yeah, so Cardi Lopez, we're playing for you. We love you. There's a lot of Firecracker teams across the country playing for this young girl that's battling leukemia, and we're behind her and her family, and we want to let you know out there that we love you and we're thinking about you. That's why you're on our helmets and you're on our wrists.
It's beautiful, Coach. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany and Coach Rico. Both of these coaches into honoring people from their organization. You see the wristbands there.
Yeah, a tough story to hear. Kari Lopez, 4 years old, battling leukemia. Her father, Mondo Lopez, is actually one of the 12U coaches in the Firecrackers organization, and with over 300 teams, that's a big Firecracker family, and Coach Tony Rico is at the head of it all, and you have to love all the honor and treat people right, play for others, and the culture that he's developed over the years.
See the wristbands in that Firecrackers dugout. Play with honor, something. It's their rallying cry. Show gratitude to those that came before them. It's Macy Simmons bats, and she has a count of 3-0. They call her One More Macy. That's her nickname. She always wants one more swing in that cage. And you've always played. You probably play with a player like that or two.
Yes, and sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them, because you're like, okay, that was a good hit. You don't need any more.
She wants to be a college softball coach, so she's ingrained that in herself very early, and she takes the 3-0 strike. Chandler, Arizona product. She'll be a 2019 grad, so she'll have a few more years participating maybe in this tournament or tournaments around the country. Herzog in her second inning of work. That one just out of the reach of Garcia at third base. You had a good look at those Firecracker helmets before the game down in the dugout. Simmons with a soft pop-up behind second base, where Pleasance will make the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Now batting number 23, Riley Wester.
There's the Firecrackers helmet. Got that ribbon on the backside. They're going to show us. It's Riley Wester steps in. There's the ribbon. Wester singled and scored back in the 3rd inning. Ball just floated down and out and missed for ball 2. Herzog needs a strike, and she doesn't get it. It sends the count to 3-0.
An interesting shift here in the infield. You can see second baseman Pleasance is all the way over, kind of playing shortstop. Naomi's shifted over to third, and then Garcia really hugging that line to a slap hitter. And it's interesting because the last time that Wester was up, she singled up the middle.
Yeah, 3 players on the opposite side of the diamond on the left side against Wester. I think these teams have seen each other a time or two, competitions around the country.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like, reminds me of the shift of Oklahoma this last year. Of course, the national champions, defending national champions, and they would do this a couple of times when they had a left-handed pitcher. They would shift their entire infield, but over to the right side. And so the Texas Bombers kind of taking a page, but shifting over to the left side, trying to force a slap hitter to that left side of the infield.
All right, Kenzie, if you're on the mound,
taking it away.
If you're in the circle like Herzog, are you working a way to feed into that shift?
Absolutely. You're just trying to pitch away and almost trying to let her hit it because you have 3 infielders almost in one position.
How about that changeup? Where did that miss? Good looking pitch, but ball 4 and Wester's on.
And I'm really surprised she went to a changeup. Changeup is not a pitch that you're trying to force a slap hitter to hit to the left side. That's a pitch that slap hitters can pull and get around their bat, but misses high, and shift doesn't matter. Wester gets on base anyway.
Second time today, so the leadoff walk on that elevated pitch. Here's Jimenez. She popped to third. Back in that 3rd inning. She's going to go from Fontana, California to Ann Arbor, Michigan for her college softball. That one back in the Colorado trees to our left. So for all these SEC and Pac-12 future players, we've got a Big Ten performer as well. Jimenez. Firecrackers down a couple of runs, but a chance to cause some damage, and Pleasance with that big frame at second base able to get back to make the catch. Kenzie, you were talking about her size earlier, and every inch helped out on that catch.
Yeah, Pleasant's almost 6 feet tall at second base, and we were talking before the game to Coach Smith, and he was just raving about her athleticism, and you talked about it earlier, the bold statement. Pleasant said, I want to play volleyball in college as well. It's really exciting to see her size over there, but her speed, agility, and her hands.
What an athlete. Vines has great speed, not a good bunt, and yet the throw was dropped at first base. Over to third, and safe is Wester. So Vines causing so many problems. That bunt was just maybe 2 feet in front of the plate. Let's watch it again. This is Wester going from first to third.
Yeah, great base running. You can see she rounds the bag. She sees the drop over at second base, or excuse me, first base from second baseman Pleasance. And that's what speed can do. Wester has great speed, and then Vines, crazy speed going down the line.
See the Firecrackers huddled up with Rod Wild, the third base coach, while we take a look at Anna Vines going down the line of this bunt.
And just watch this bunt, no hesitation. Kind of even stumbles getting out of the box a little bit, but puts her head down. Long strides, getting all the way to first base. She's going to be a fun one to watch in a couple years at UCLA.
So she's reached on 2 errors in this game, but it's her speed that made those plays happen fast. Give her a little credit for hustling even on when maybe out of the box it looked like she was going to be out.
This is a good situation here for the Firecrackers. First and third, even though 2 outs, you have your fastest player at first base. Down 2 runs. This is a good situation for them to create some havoc in the base paths.
Jacobus will be the batter. She pinch hit in the 3rd inning and lined out to third base. Daughter of Judith and Greg. She was a soccer player until she was 11. She had to choose. She went the softball route and looked like it was a good decision. And now she's up in the count 2-0. Are you surprised Vines isn't running here?
A little bit. 2-0 may be a good place to go. It's in the 5th inning in the middle of the Firecrackers lineup, so they also have a ton of confidence in Jacobus and her ability to swing the bat.
That might have been the pitch to go on, a floater that bounced in the dirt.
Absolutely.
So one thing we've seen from Herzog is that willingness to go off speed on several occasions, even on that 3-2 pitch earlier this inning. Hitters count though for Jacobus. Good pitch, and now the count has gone full. So the tying runs out there on the bases for the Firecrackers in the bottom of the 5th in this National Power Showdown from Westminster, Colorado. Vines will run now, and the payoff, another changeup that missed, and it's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. They've loaded them up without a hit this inning. So Callan and her teammates out there to talk with Herzog before Brooke Marquez steps in. No place to put her. Herzog has a stiff test in Brooke Marquez, who's had a couple of base hits and an RBI from that 3-hole in the Firecrackers lineup.
Number 1, Brooke Marquez.
So the Valencia, California native, 4 siblings back at home, ready to step in here and see if she can change this score. Well, that just missed that outside corner.
That's a pitch that's been called a time or two earlier in the game, and I'm a pitcher. I want that pitch called every time.
You pitchers always do.
That's right. Big zone.
That's a strike. 1-1. Firecrackers have never led in this game. They've loaded them up on 2 walks and an error this inning. Little flare, it'll drop for a base hit. It'll score 2 to tie the game. Brooke Marquez is 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. She's had a big evening.
And finally, the Firecrackers get a hit, and Marquez gets the second base safely. The last 2 innings we've seen Firecrackers hit an RBI but then get thrown out at a secondary play at second base. That probably feels good for them to kind of settle in a little bit. But yeah, how about Marquez having a game?
Saving it for ESPN 3, I guess, as Grace Lyons takes strike 1. Good point, though. The Firecrackers have seen innings end in the 3rd and 4th innings after RBI base hits with the batter trying to advance to second. That one was just clubbed a mile foul. But this inning, cashing in a 2-out hit and tying up the game at 5. Some of our All-Americans. Just missing outside is Herzog. Grace Lyons, they call her Gracie Lou, waiting on a 1-2. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Herzog being very careful. We saw that inside pitch, and we saw Lyons, like you said, pull it a mile foul, and last 2 pitches being very careful on that outside corner.
Trying to strand a couple of runners in scoring position, and she clipped the elbow of Lyons, and the bases are loaded again.
See this ball go in on the back elbow, but I love how heads up Lyons was. You can see her show right away. It hit me, and that reaction tells me that she was indeed hit, because that's not a natural reaction to kind of roll with the punches. We saw earlier Herzog on the other side kind of dance out of the way of a ball that was in on her hands, but now the base is loaded.
Coach Scott Smith talking with Bill Taylor, our plate umpire.
When Coach Smith talked to Brittany earlier, he was saying, you know, this is not enough runs. And he knew that the Firecrackers would have a chance to come back.
Here's what's taking place this weekend. We have 4 games. This is the first of 4 on ESPN 3. There's a National Pro Fast Pitch 2-game series. Monica Abbott, by the way, on site tonight. It's a college camp back on Sunday, recruiting showcases and camps. All kinds of college coaches here, but of course in this game and our next game, everybody already committed, Kenzie. Aaliyah Flores quickly down on the count here, 0-2. She's popped up and hit a fly out to center. She'd like to change that. Ground ball up the middle, and this is going to score at least 1. Safe at the plate. And it's a 7-5 lead for the Firecrackers. All 4 runs this inning coming with 2 outs. Jacobus and Marquez scoring the base hit from Flores with a couple of RBIs.
See Marquez coming in to slide. That play was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. That throw was a little bit off the line. And Nillen does a really good job waiting for that ball and then trying to have a chance to tag Marquez out at home plate.
Boy, in that replay, a great job by Marquez to go to the front of the plate, the inside position to be able to get to the dish.
So important. slide on one side. Could be safe. Like you said, if she had done a hook slide, she would have ran right into an out.
Emma Clark pinch running is Alyssa Pinto. Ready to hit. Pinto had the home run back in the second. Firecrackers dugout is picked up now with 4 runs home this inning. So Herzog has run into some troubles here in this 5th inning. Just missed the corner. The 2-1 pitch. Runs over that inside edge to even the count. So a 4-run 5th inning for the Firecrackers. The #1 ranked team has taken their first lead. This one going to stay in play. Garcia down from third, and that ball nearly squirted out of her glove. A snow cone catch to end a very busy 5th inning. Bombers got a run at the top of the frame. The Firecrackers respond with 4, all unearned here in the bottom of the inning. With 7 runs on 9 hits for the team from California. 5 runs on 4 hits for the Texas Bombers as we've completed 5 innings. Let's check in with Brittany again with a very special story.
Thanks, guys. Now, I was so excited when I heard I got to tell this story because it's really such a great cause. Bombers head coach Scott Smith was talking about how he started a program called For the Heroes. And basically what it is the girls wear the name of a fallen hero on the back of their jerseys. And then come the end of the season, they give those jerseys to the families of the fallen heroes. And then on top of that, they have 2 programs within that. They have the Woods and Waters program and then a Veterans Awareness program. And basically what those do is they take veterans hunting, they take them fishing just to get their mind off things. And then if they need help, they build them ramps. They just do anything they can to help make their lives a little bit easier. I just thought it was wonderful. If you get a chance, you have to go online and watch the video. I almost teared up. Such a great cause, and I just can't explain enough how great it was, guys.
Brittany, if you go online and you look on YouTube, you'll see the ceremony. After the season, they'll bring out family members who are honored with that jersey, and they'll make a presentation to the family members from the soldier who had passed, gave the ultimate sacrifice, and just part of what these organizations, these teams do off the field. We know how good they are on the field. They try and be just as good in their civic responsibilities.
Coach Smith, active in the Army, serves as a master sergeant in the Army and has been in the Army for the last 28 years, so obviously a cause that's near and dear to his heart.
Jewett back to the mound for her 3rd inning of work, but now the Bombers, who've led throughout, trailing by 2. And Sunseri, she started the scoring with a 2-run homer in the first. Trying to kickstart something here in the top of the 6th. Kenzie, sometimes you wonder in a game like this what gives. I mean, you should see the players beginning to warm up for the All-American game. You know you have just tremendous lineups top to bottom. You also have very good pitchers. And when these teams face other teams, they may be able to run right by them. But when you get 2 good teams that go head-to-head, you wonder if we're going to see a lower scoring game or a higher scoring game. We've seen a lot of runs.
I think it comes down to who has the last at-bats because the way that the offense has looked today on both sides. Firecrackers kind of coming on late, Texas Bombers jumping out early. It's looked very good.
Sunseri has 1 home run. Updating, she has 2 home runs on a collision between Vines and Pinto. The fence gave way, but how about another bomb from Shelby Sunseri? We had 2 outfielders trying to make a SportsCenter top 10 catch, and they went up and over the fence, as did the ball.
Well, her first home run was an inside pitch that she pulled to left center field. This second home run in Oppo, and you can see where this ball lands. You have to love the effort. Pinto and Vines going hard. That fence is really tough for outfielders. It doesn't really give. You just kind of fall over it, but.
You see Vines say to Pinto, did you catch it? No. And Pinto to Vines,
Yeah.
Did you catch it? No. Oh.
Shelby Sinceri.
She's put on a show. There's Taylor Pleasance. Now a long one would tie up this game, a 7-6 contest. Taylor's 0 for 2. She's fly to left and bounced out. Coach Smith watching his team try and come back in this game. They've led through a majority. Some of these players, Kenzie, between their high school seasons and during the summer, how many games do you think they play?
Oh, it's a couple hundred. It's a lot of softball because you're playing in these tournaments, and especially a tournament like this where you're playing for a week straight. You're playing 2, 3, 4 games a day. A lot of softball. I love it though. No place that you'd rather be than just spend the day at the ballpark, a week at the ballpark, especially in a place like Colorado in the summer. All softball should be played in Colorado in the summer.
This from a woman who left Tucson where it was 115 yesterday.
Yeah, a little hot down in Tucson right now.
Some of the mountains in the backdrop, just a scenic sight here in Westminster, Colorado. A little warmer temperatures maybe than normal, but we had some rain through the sunshine earlier. Count has gone full to Pleasance. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Big payoff pitch. This one may drop fair and will. So Taylor Pleasance with her first hit in 3 at-bats. She represents the tying run with nobody out this inning.
Pleasance, left-handed batter, just gets a little bit under this pitch, but finds enough of grass out in left field. I'll tell you, Riley Wester did a really good job playing that ball. That's one of those flare bloopers that can kind of turn into a double because of how it rolls off the chalk and out in left field, and she got that ball in really quickly.
Look at determination there from Jewett. She's in a fight this inning. It's Haley Nillen, the catcher in. Face mask high in the first pitch. So the Firecrackers need an out. Good pitch to even the count at 1-1. Jewett with that ponytail running back between the 1 and the 0 on her uniform number just plunked Nillen. In the first 3 runners have reached here in the Bombers' 6th inning. So a conference on the hill now, as just saw the Firecrackers score 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th. And here come the Bombers again. Bombers have scored in 4 different innings against Coach Rico's Firecrackers team. Coach going for a stroll. Maybe this is nervous time in that dugout.
This is a fun game for both programs because, yes, it's on TV and the crowd, and it's 2 of the top teams in the nation. It's a really good stage for these young women to kind of get used to and feel the pressure of what it feels like to play one of the top teams in the nation. And a lot of these players will be playing each other at the next level. It's a great preparation.
Coach Rob Weil, who calls the pitches out there quickly for the Firecrackers. And that's a good point. We talked about a few of these players will be teammates together at the next level, at the college level, but also those that'll continue to battle against each other, not only through the summer circuit, but obviously into college, playing in front of a great environment tonight here in Colorado.
And this is the time in their lives when they're getting better and using each situation, whether you're winning or losing, kind of learning from it, listening to your coaches. How are you going to get better for that next phase of their college careers, which is coming pretty soon? It's right around the corner.
And I know some of these young ladies probably play on very good high school teams, and looking at the questionnaires, a lot of gone deep in the playoffs or won state championships, and it's a great memory. But you do ratchet up the competition here in the summer, and it's a way for the best to go up against the best and maybe find out just how good you are. Willick running at second base. There's a bunt try from Naomi, and it was snagged out of the air by Flores. Great play coming in from third base to get there quickly.
And you see where this pitch is located. It's up above Naomi's head, and it's the one cardinal rule. If you're sacrifice bunting, you don't want to reach your bat up. If that ball's above your bat, you pull it back.
All right, Kenzie, maybe anticipating a bunt, would you have gone high on that first pitch just to see if you could get a pop-up?
Absolutely. As a pitcher, bunt situation, I'm going to spin a rise ball, curveball, something to get that ball breaking up. That's exactly what you want as a pitcher.
This is the reaction over at first base. Oh, no, not the pop-up bunt.
We've all seen it at all levels. It happens, but I want to try and keep that ball down.
Shane Courtney couldn't hold back. I don't blame him. Kayla Garcia with a count of a ball and a strike. Only one out this inning, a run home, and you see the base runners out there. First and second. Garcia hit into a double play that ended the fourth inning, the first inning that Jewett was in. This her third. Boy, strike given. 1-2. Coach Rico had a good line before the game, and that pitch misses. He said about his kids, they learn to play in tough moments, in his poise, and he said you won't see our kids with bad body language a lot of times, or maybe angry if they didn't make a play, and they've had a couple of things go against them today, and I think his team has responded by, not showing that body language. Can they get another double play? Now they'll be happy with one out, and everybody's safe, so a roller up the middle was bobbled by Lyons, and now that poise will be tested because the bases are loaded.
Well, you heard what he said in the interview with Brittany, and he said those errors, we're tested with adversity. It's almost good for us. We need to learn how to play with this pressure. And it goes back to playing one of the top teams in the nation. Firecrackers with that #1 ranking, and Bombers the top 10 team.
Well, I thought you had a good point earlier, though, Kenzie. When you have that #1 to the left of your name, whether it's online or these tournaments, everybody's going to give you your best effort, or their best effort. It goes without saying. Firecrackers scored 4 in the bottom of the 5th for a lead, but it's back to a 1-run game. The bases are loaded as Callan takes strike 1. Katy, Texas product. She won't graduate until 2019, but committed to Texas, going up against the Harvard commit in Jewett. Things came pretty easy for Jewett through the first 2 frames, but this has been a tester here in the 6th. Started with that home run from Sinceri. Boy, a strikeout here would be huge against Callan. Daughter of Karen and Cole, back in the Houston area. Big strikeout, 2 gone. Just what Jewett needed.
This is a perfectly placed pitch. You see that screwball running away from Callan. 1-2 count. Exactly where you want it, especially how she had swung and offered at that pitch before. See that she's going to swing, expand her zone. You go right back to it.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. As O'Neill takes strike 1. She's committed to the University of Houston out of Missouri City, Texas. Daughter of Ashley and Dennis. Looking to come through with a huge hit here to put her team back in front. She's been playing with a lot of these same players on this team since 2010. So you talk about all the games they play in a year, all the games they played together. 2 balls and a strike. One-run game here in the 6th. Liner to left field. How about that catch? What an effort from Riley Wester to keep the lead for the Firecrackers. Abby O'Neill thought she had the hit.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wester comes up with a diving catch. Firecrackers get a chance to swing it.
Clubs, businesses, and fans. Over 4,000 members from all 50 states and 10 countries, uniting together to advance the sport we love. Visit nfca.org.
Hey, what a game here for our National Power Showdown. You should see the All-Stars getting ready for the second contest. How about the catch from Riley Wester to lay out in left field to keep the Firecrackers up a run?
Big smiles from Jewett, pitcher in the circle. You gotta love that. Bases loaded and your left fielder lays out to get out of a jam.
See the fans filing in behind the center field fence. They will continue to add to this crowd. Meanwhile, we've got a pitching change. You could probably scalp tickets behind the plate tonight. Well-populated area, but here's Maddie Lindsay. Baylor commit. Out of Kingwood, Texas. 2018 grad, a lefty. Flips up a pitch to Perez that misses. Left on left. Perez singled in a run back in the 4th inning. Talked about Maddie Lindsay being left-handed. She says her parents made me left-handed. I didn't know you could do that.
That sounds like a good idea.
Being the crazy parent I am, I made mine a left-handed hitter, but I couldn't do much with the throwing motion. It stayed right-handed, but Kristen and Rob were able to succeed. They've got a left-handed pitcher.
You see a long stride left-handed. And throws a curveball around her hip a little bit. Typical lefty curve. I feel like every left-hander has that nasty curveball that just breaks away from another lefty.
How much do you look at the stride when you evaluate pitchers?
Well, stride is huge. Every time that You get off the plate, how far you can get out, a lot of times equivalates to how hard you throw and how much power you have and get out of your legs.
Another pop-up, back it out of play. And of course, I know you grew up in the Tucson area, so you were watching the prime years of Jenny Finch when she was at Arizona, and I was there as well. And it was amazing with her stride. It felt like she was on top of the hitters when she released.
Yeah, I was 10 years old when Jenny Finch was pitching, and of course everyone I think in Arizona she was your idol, but Jenny Finch, of course, over 6 feet tall and kind of that iconic stride. You think about pitcher's stride and power and getting off the mound, you really think of Jenny Finch.
Of course, Monica Abbott is pitching in a pro fast pitch game here as well, as that one is just ripped well foul. She was doing an interview before our telecast, and I said, my, she's tall. Similar stride, I'm sure, for her.
Yeah, another one. Monica Abbott, about 6'3", left-handed, throws it hard. One of the hardest pitchers that we've ever seen in our game.
Alex Perez having quite an at-bat here against Maddie Lindsay. Hit out there to left field and tracked down for the first out. Peyton Jackson put it away.
Now batting number 18, Macy Simmons.
So Lindsay wins her first battle. Now she'll look at Macy Simmons, catcher for the Firecrackers. Good pitcher, strike one. Firecrackers batting here in the bottom of the 6th, up by a run. Able to kind of expand the parameters of that zone just to find out how much you can get off that outside corner.
Absolutely. If you get the umpire to bite at an inch, try an inch more off, and keep crawling. Especially when you're facing a team that has really good hitters like the Firecrackers. If you can throw that pitch, a ball off the plate or two, stay right there.
How much would you probe early just to see how far you can go in or out?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that you're thinking about, especially that first inning when you're throwing your pitches.
Macy Simmons found out. She's down looking, 2 quick outs here in the 6th.
You can see where this ball ends up. That ball's 2 balls off the plate.
By Macy Simmons, I'm saying no fair. How am I supposed to hit that?
That's a pitcher's pitch. I'll take that, but not if you're in the box.
Here's Riley Wester. She saved some runs with a great catch out in left field, but she will be robbed by Naomi, who went back from her shortstop position. So Maddie Lindsay comes in the game as a perfect 6th inning. On we go to the 7th in the 7-inning game. Good contest going on. The Texas Bombers and the Firecrackers in a 7-6 contest. So let's check in one more time with Brittany. I think she's standing by with Dave King.
I am here with the man himself, the guy that made all of this possible, Dave King. Did you expect this tournament to be this big when you first started?
No, we were trying to solve a situation where our team hadn't got to play in either of the 2 tournaments, and we created one, thought, why not? Let's crank up everything we can think of on this one, and from all-star games to pro product to top-ranked teams to festival to fair. It's got it all. So,
what's your favorite part about this tournament?
I think that tonight is one of the best because it has crowds that every diamond looks just like this, with different products, the younger kids, the 16s, the 18s, the pros, then the singers over in the corner. So it's got the circus appeal.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Here's what this tournament features, Kenzie. You mentioned the largest youth softball event in the world. But the 48th year they've been doing this fireworks tournament, more than 900 teams. You're talking about 3,000 plus games on 133 fields. And college coaches everywhere.
Yeah, it's so exciting. You think about who your favorite college team is to watch and the players that come in through the program. This is the weekend the majority of those players are recruited. And it's a bold statement, but it's true. I've seen it year after year, how many players get recognized by college coaches in this week of softball in Colorado.
I know these players are so used to playing in events, tournaments, and showcases where they're being evaluated, potentially being recruited. As Herzog steps in to start this 7th inning, what advice would you have for young girls that might feel a little bit of anxiety or anxiousness knowing there's so many scouts and coaches here to see them play?
Yeah, I think you always go back to, I always go back to the famous Sue Inquist quote, it's 60 feet, turn left. So the game doesn't change. It doesn't matter where you are. You have to focus on your task at hand and one pitch at a time. Because if you think about how long and how many games that you're playing in Colorado, it gets a little overwhelming. So you just have to really focus on the task at hand, your at bat, your pitch, your count, wherever you're at the field.
Mackenzie Herzog has made the most of her day. She scored 3 runs from that leadoff position. She'd like to get on here, and she may do that again. 4 times up, 4 times on base, although that's her first base hit in a good beginning to the 7th inning. With the Bombers down a run.
And the Firecrackers, I'm sure, are saying, we are sick of seeing Mackenzie Herzog, get on base every single time. Doesn't matter if she walks, gets a little bobble, a slap, and then swings away.
Whitley in. See if she shows bunt. She does. But Herzog a threat to run back in the 5th inning. She swiped second base. On an overthrow, she went to third. On an overthrow, she came racing in to score. Whitley 1 for 3. Sees the count go to a ball, then a strike, and there's Herzog, and certainly her speed is something the Firecrackers are concerned with here in the 7th. 3 outs away from a win.
Yeah, that was something I don't think I've ever seen before. 3 slides and went around. Was safe at home.
Wide at third base. It exhausted both of us, I know that.
So we hope she's fully recovered now at first base. She's got her legs back and ready to run some more bases.
Youth is truly wasted on the young. Brianna Jewett with another key sequence. The throw to second. I believe that hit Herzog. She's safe. Nearly a collision down at second base. Simmons had a pretty good pitch to handle. Boy, it did hit Herzog.
Yeah, but Herzog isn't fazed by anything. She's seen a couple bases a little bit worse than that, and you see umpire Greg Whitehead with the call for obstruction. That ball was just kind of taken Marquez that way. Kind of one of those where the throw ends up and the players all collide at the same time.
3-2 now to Whitley. Good play at third base made by Flores. Able to look Herzog back and get that first out.
Now batting, first baseman number 25, Georgia Clark.
So Georgia Clark, the 3-hole hitter, 0 for 3, and she'd like to change that and score Herzog from second. Not sure if it's David or Stacy, which parent is here with Mackenzie Herzog, but they're going to have to do quite a load of laundry with her uniform covered in dirt and dust from head to toe.
Softball parents know. They have all the tricks, especially with white pants.
Brianna Jewett trying to finish off this game, but a dangerous hitter at the plate in Clark, and an even more dangerous hitter on deck in Sunseri. And what has she done today, you ask? Not 1, 2 home runs. If you're Jewett, you can't help but notice who's on deck, right?
No.
Soft pop up to second. This will be out number 2. So in a matchup of top 10 teams in a 1-run game in the 7th inning, how about a player in Sunseri who's hit 2 home runs already, a chance to come up with a base hit to possibly tie, or her 3rd home run to put her team ahead again?
Well, it'll be really interesting to see if the Firecrackers even give her anything to hit. I mean, first base is open. She's hit 2 home runs. I'm going to be very careful here if I'm a pitcher in the circle.
Let's go back and look at the home runs. This was the 1st inning shot. She just threw the bat head out at this one.
And this was off the starter for the Firecrackers, Brooke Vestal, and then in the 6th inning, a solo shot opposite field.
The collision, there was a mess out there in right field. Strike given.
It looks like Jouette's gonna go right at her. That kind of surprises me, to be honest, because I mean, the motto of softball is don't let the other team's best player beat you. Firecrackers up 1 run, 2 outs, first base open, and we already talked about it. She's hit 2 home runs.
Maybe that pitch was too good because
yeah,
Rob Weil is out there for a conversation. I guess my concern, Kenzie, would be we've seen the speed from Herzog. Anything to the outfield's more than likely going to score her.
Yep, and so I'm sure that's what the conversation is about. Rob Weil calls the pitches, and exactly, he probably went out there and asked Jouette, are you going to pitch to her? Because if so, we need to talk about it. She's hit two home runs already.
Jouette's probably saying, listen, you tell me to throw strikes. Now I throw strikes, and now you're telling me maybe we don't want to throw strikes, but for good reason, I promise, with what Sunseri's done in this game. "30 minutes or so following the conclusion of this one. Join us again on ESPN3 for the All-American game. 57 young ladies who have all committed to college. Should be a tremendous evening of softball here in Westminster, Colorado. Sunseri, though, would like to keep this game alive. Good pitch for strike 2, and the Texas Bombers down to their final strike and out.
Well, it would be huge if Jouette could take care of Sunseri, and if that's the way the game could end, that would be a huge confidence boost.
Off the corner. Plate umpire Bill Taylor wouldn't bite on that one. He's worked up a pretty good lather behind the dish here in game 1. There's Herzog. She represents the tying run at second base. Already come across 3 times. Sunseri down the right field line. Pinto with an all-out dive to win the game. And the #1 ranked Firecrackers survive by a run in an entertaining contest.
It definitely lived up to the hype. The offense came out. Firecrackers coming on. We saw Wester the inning before, and so Pinto in right field says, I'm going to one-up, do it for the game-ending diving catch out in right field.
What an effort by Alyssa Pinto to win the game 7-6. Our final. Don't forget, we've got the All-American game, the red versus blue team, coming up in about a half an hour. 57 players in that one, another 7-inning game. It's a gorgeous day for softball in the Denver area. Christopher Fields in Westminster, Colorado is the site of the Triple Crown Sparkler Fireworks, the world's largest softball event. The first of 4 telecasts on ESPN3 features the National Power Showdown, a pair of nationally ranked top 10 teams. It's the number 9 Texas Bombers and the number 1 Firecrackers out of California. Here are some more details on this event. The number of players and teams certainly are staggering. 900 plus teams from all 50 states, 500 plus college coaches, and more than 3,000 games around the Denver area. I'm Brett Dolan along with Arizona two-time All-American pitcher Kenzie Fowler. And Kenzie, these two organizations and teams are about so much more than softball, but they have a tremendous collection of talent we're going to see tonight.
Well, absolutely. This is such a fun time for these young women in their lives. Club softball, even though it's club, it will be some of the best softball that we will see all year. And like you said, 2 of the top-ranked club teams. Each team has stacked players that are committed to big-time schools, and they're getting better each year.
We're going to have a lot of fun introducing you to the players in this game tonight. Let's introduce you to the third member of our crew, Brittany Fowler.
Thanks, guys. It's a beautiful day out here for some softball, and what better than to have 2 of the best teams competing here tonight.